Agler. Go!
Scientific research, maybe.
No, we are not. But there are new initiatives that get harder to do, areas that you want to see universities move into.
That you're not going to be able to do.
That people won't be able to move into.
Like, I just want to point out, it sounds like you are saying you guys are doing your modeling, you're doing your research, you're looking at your resources, and things will be fine. You are going to figure out.
Блин, капец, так.
So who are you giving the credit for killing SLI?
Honestly,
Microsoft? Well, exactly. You think reviewers killed SLI?
Yeah, I get there, buddy. I get there.
I'm getting there.
All right, I got one pair. I got one chest seal.
Where am I going?
Go to Agler.
Okay.
Northbound Westfield to Agler. Go! Go! Done!
What the?
Girl hitting on me, so I totally blew her off. We had dinner and all was going well, and we were conversation when she walked straight in. He made me watch his homemade rap videos and tried to like his own FB page on my phone. I had to go.
You better what? You better draw? Her back? Her back, שבכל מצב שהוא הבית הוא ידע לך בני בני בני
fuck's sake. Fucking hell.
Wanted to go there when I was here. It is very different, but it's amazing. Really? Oh, I love it. Yeah, I miss home so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do call an
yeah,
ambulance?
I'm gonna call.
Yeah. Should we drive off the road or stay?
Well, though it's a red light. Here, hold on. I'm gonna call.
Ой, бля. Что, помочь? А что мы сделаем, блядь?
Пустите меня! Женя, целый?
Целый! Эй, быстро к нему! Да ну нахрен! Да ладно! Жека, сядь! Посиди, посиди!
Отойдите от него, дайте ему чуть подышать. Отойдите от него.
Гордо называемся «Автосервис Драйв». НБШ 4В. Телефон 8 986 751 11. В магазине «Мой дом» все под рукой для домашних хлопот и садовых работ. Электроничная сеть магазинов «Мой дом». Нефтекамск. Индустриальная 12G. Техснабовская 3К.
Машину на комиссию отдал, не заметил, как...
Я даже так ничего. Сейчас потом подумал, что надо было бы спросить. Давай, перевернись, давай, дебил, идиот, просто идиот.
I'm sure he'll be in touch with me to go and get some stuff out the back. He's still got it all. Just he must do. He must have a massive war chest. You would have found it with your parents to keep all your stuff. Fuck! No. No, there was a little bit of stuff. They gave it to me when I was like 21 though. They're like, here's all your stuff. We'll never see you again.
Well, a couple of years ago, I got all my ADHD.
Ninja Turtles. Remember Bebop and Rocksteady? Why can't they still make...
He's kicking up smokes pretty good. He takes 35 when he hits. Okay. Looks like we're taking 35.
There's an accident, Smithville to go eastbound.
35 westbound, 35 westbound.
Okay.
24, Texas training expired 4/24/25. 2025 for Katie Beth, Porter Savannah, September. Hamilton. No. They're unavailable. Would you like us to step next to the station? 35 westbound, that's 34/8. About 90.
Westbound, it's 34/8, East 90.
Alright, failed pit.
McGee. Officer Van Road. No, it's James McGee. There in the hospital.
Alright, good pit.
没了，拿野火吃的，过上治了。结果这野火。